If you'd like to see more of our videos, please subscribe to our channel on YouTube or follow us here on Instagram. Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Razak at CMtrading. Today is December 5th, 2019, and today is Thursday morning. So looking at the major economic events today, happening all day today, we have OPEC meetings, discussing oil output, discussing surpluses, discussing the prices, and that's sure to affect the price of oil. We're going to take a look at that at just a moment. But looking at the markets first, starting out with the currencies, British pound explodes to the upside yesterday with some momentum. We're going to take a look at that. Forced the euro to bounce above that resistance as well, but that euro faltered and retraced back to its resistance level. We're going to take a look at both of them. Now looking at the Dow Jones, it finally bounces after the slide with some momentum that between China and the United States, some sort of trade agreement is going to happen. Now looking at the commodities, gold pretty much tapers off. Well, oil remains unchanged, but we're going to take a look at the price of oil in regards to this OPEC meeting happening today. And lastly, looking at the stocks, so there's a little bit of a discrepancy. It seems to be that Intel's the biggest loser, and yet the day happened yesterday that we moved up on the Dow Jones and Intel actually continued to sell off. That's relative weakness. We're going to take a look at that as well. And Google being the biggest winner on the upside. So you see that there's a little bit of discrepancy in the markets. Some stocks are strong, some stocks are weak. And it's this type of environment that you could really make a lot of money in. But let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So we're going to start here with a 4-hour chart, as you can see here with the GBP, and this is what I'm talking about. We've plowed right through this yesterday of this 129.88-ish level, plowing up to 131. Now this is historic, okay? This is really very important. And the reason it's very important is that we got to look at a daily chart to really highlight this. So jumping into the daily chart of the GBP, this is something that we haven't broken above since April of 2019, which is over 6 months ago. Okay, so with that said, this is really very important because the next real resistance level is 132.64, which is 150 pips away. So this move right here, just by itself, okay, is over 120 pips just in one day. So with that said, if this momentum continues, we could see it close in at this 132.64. Now the euro did the same thing yesterday, broke above its resistance, but you could see here on a 4-hour chart that it actually faltered, right? It broke above it with that green candle, but then right back down to its resistance. So the euro is still very weak versus the dollar, while the GBP actually gains, showing us some relative strength there. Now jumping into the commodities, taking a look at gold, 1477 is the number we're at right now. We closed in at that 1484 and we retraced. So this is pretty much just trading within a range between 1484 and 1448 on the downside. Now, if the Dow Jones continues to go up, I would be sure that this would actually retrace further. So just keep in mind that that's a potential as we enter the next couple of days of trading. Now looking at oil, we've been hugging this $56 for quite some time. Okay, we rallied from 54 to 56. We're looking at a 1-hour chart, but this ultimately has been in this area for quite some time after retracing. Now looking at today's OPEC meeting events, there's two ways that this can go. This could actually sell off today with some anticipation that they're going to sustain the current output and then sustain the price of oil. Okay, but altogether, oil is really cheap from historic highs. I mean, just to give you a perspective, let's look at a monthly chart. Nope, let's look at a weekly chart. That's just to give you a little bit better perspective here. You know, ultimately, the most it's been is at $68 to $67 over the last year and a half, 2 years. But prior to that, okay, it doesn't populate here in the graph, but prior to that, we were trading at about $115 to $150 even 10 years ago. So with that said, this is a major retracement for oil and making things much cheaper, right? Travel is cheaper, goods are cheaper because as a result, it costs less to commute them to their destinations. So with that said, the output is still going to stay at these levels. That means the prices will stay stable. Now looking at the Dow Jones, we saw that finally bounce yesterday. Let's look at that. Just you see that small little bounce from 27,444. And this was a beautiful spot because this was previous resistance right here. okay, and this was your subsequent support, and sure enough, that's exactly what happened. And we're trading at 27,673. Now, we may still have a end of the year rally as we continue going into the next couple of sessions. However, okay, there are some mixed signs in the stock markets. There are certain stocks going up and certain stocks not. So case in point, Intel, biggest loser. Yesterday we went up, but Intel didn't do anything, didn't go up, okay? This, suffice it to say, is an indication that it will continue to sell off at a certain point, okay? So it may have not gone up yesterday, but the next time the market actually retraces and goes down, this may be the first thing that goes down. Now, on the flip side, on the upside, Google completely flied yesterday on the upside from 1300 to 1320 after retracing just a little bit off of our highs of 1328. So with that said, okay, we're only about 12 points off of our all-time highs. So this is really a very strong stock, while Intel has been a very weak stock. So depending on the environment that you find yourself in, if the markets continue going up higher, I'd be more inclined to buying Google. If the markets go lower, I'd be more inclined to short selling Intel. Okay, so you've got a couple of options there as you go into today's trading. Now again, tomorrow we have NFP, which is the most important number of the month, so just be aware of it. It also adds some significance since it's the last Friday of December, okay, last Friday of the year, so to speak, last NFP of the year. That's more correct to say, so just be aware of that. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish everybody a great trading day. Thank you.